Hey guys, welcome back to Ironside Ranch, and we are just slam crazy busy right now. So I wanted to let you guys know first off that starting now, we're basically going to be going down to about 2, maybe 3 videos a week. We're just too busy to keep putting them out for the summertime. We're entering into our busy season, and we're really having a hard time keeping up with these. So I want to let you guys know that we're gonna probably drop back on that. We're going to focus on doing stuff more related to the farm rather than some of the kind of worldwide news that we talked about here. And specifically, there's a lot of other channels. There's, the Economic Ninja, Financial Fitness, On-Site Travis. They all talk about a lot of this stuff anyways. And so we're going to kind of dial back in and focus more on the farm. So what I want to talk about today is culling cows, how and when, and how to do this kind of ethically. Because, right, there's some questions about this. How do you get rid of a cow that you don't want and give it to somebody else? So stay with us. This kind of jogged me today is because we actually, Madeline and I were driving all day today delivering cows. Now, we sold 2 heifers specifically that these were heifers that we did not want to breed. They didn't meet our breeding requirements. And so the question is, okay, how do we get rid of these ethically? Do we, can we sell them to somebody else because they don't meet our breeding requirements? We kind of think they were junk cows, right? Because they're either good or bad. Right? It's a yes or no on whether we keep them. So, in our eyes, these did not meet our breeding requirements. We don't want to keep them. And so can we sell them to somebody else? Do we take them to the sale barn? Because a sale barn, they tend to buy in bulk, feed them out, and take them to slaughter. So to them, it doesn't really matter. They're paying things by the pound. We could raise them out ourselves and pound them out here at the end of the year. There's a number of options. And what ended up happening is we had decided that we were going to raise these cows out, and that we were going to butcher them. Even though they are Florida cracker heifers, so they're not going to get very big, they'll still sell, and some families want less meat than others. I always think it's funny that not everybody wants the most amount of meat from their cow, but a lot of people that call us to schedule want just kind of a smaller cow. So those ones like that would work really, really well for it. Or we could even raise them out a little bit longer and then get them taken care of that way. What the question was is then how do we deal with these cows if we want to sell them? And we had somebody post and said they were looking for smaller cows, and this guy raises miniature cows. And I started talking to him and I said, hey, I've got these 2 heifers, and they're smaller cows. They're Florida crackers, so they might suit your kind of miniature herd. And so he started talking to me for a little while. He doesn't raise any purebreds. Everything he's got is mixed breeds, but they're all miniature cows. And he sells these miniature cows. I don't know where he's selling them, because he told me this one calf that he had born last night was $2,500. It looked like a little itty bitty black baldy. It's about the size of a goat. But whatever he's doing to sell those, I need in on it. But anyway, so we kind of talked for a little while, and then Amanda and I talked about this, and we're like, okay, is this ethical really to sell this guy these cows? Because these are cull animals. And then so we got to thinking about it, and so the first thing that we thought about is, okay, so we don't cull our cows by traditional standards, right? We look for round bodies, put on weight on scrubland. We want short legs so that they're close to the ground. They're more efficient eaters and breeders. And we like docile cows that don't have problematic temperaments. These are the characteristics we breed for. We don't breed for anything that commercial guys breed for. So I don't feel at all guilty about selling to a big commercial guy if they wanted these cows, which they don't, because these are small farm cows. But if they did, it wouldn't bother me at all, because we're looking for completely different things in our characteristics of them. I want things that are disease resistant, parasite hardy, and they don't care, because they're just going to load them up with a bunch of drugs. So selling them to a commercial farmer, again, why selling them at the sale barn is not really a big deal. Now, selling them to this individual, we had to look at it. Okay, so this guy's looking for small cows, so the fact that one of these cows was a little bit smaller and was kind of a runted cow, I don't know why. I mean, she wasn't malnourished, her mother was big, she just didn't seem to get quite as big. And maybe she will, she's not done growing yet, so maybe she's just a late bloomer, I don't have any idea. But I thought, well, if it stays small, then that kind of fits what this guy wants. Even if it gets to full size, as big as the mom, it still fits in his herd. Might be a little bigger than what he wants, but it still fits into what he's looking for. The other one was kind of a skittish cow, and that's why we didn't want to keep her. She wouldn't come near you. She ran off everywhere, and he didn't seem to care about that. And again, that's a breeding characteristic that we do that most of the people don't do. Most of the people don't really care that much as long as the cow's not breaking fences. They don't care that it's skittish and doesn't come around them. We do, because it's easier to corral them if they're not skittish cows. And so I want cows that are very easy and very docile, and I don't like skittish cows. I don't know whether that's a hereditary trait that you can pass on, but I still don't want to deal with a mom that's skittish that's going to run off when I go over there to ear tag the baby, and then all of a sudden baby can't find mom. We got a whole mess of issues, so we wanted to get rid of her. So this guy didn't care at all. And again, he was looking for smaller breed cows, so these cows fit him very well. So we had to realize that selling cows and culling cows, different breeders have different breeding requirements. And so I might get a cull cow from somebody else's farm because commercial farms like long legs on their animals, large long legs, because then they can pack the weight on them with grain, right, when they put them in their feedlot. Completely different characteristic from what I'm looking for. I want things that are parasite resistant, that I don't have to worm and vaccinate, and they don't give a shit because they're going to pump them full of so many drugs it doesn't matter. I don't care if an animal is sickle hocked, and a person that's raising these cows maybe potentially for a dairy breed would, because these are a dual purpose breed, and so they don't want a cow that's sickle hocked because what tends to happen is the legs come up and kick the bags, make the bags dirty. They also don't want short cows like we breed for, because those bags tend to get big and they can hit the ground and it gets them dirty and it's harder to get under there. They actually want the long legs, and so different breeding requirements are different. So here's my thought on culling cows. You want to be very open if somebody asks you why you're getting rid of the cow. If somebody says, hey, what are you doing? Why don't you want this cow anymore? Just be very honest. It doesn't meet our breeding requirements. If they want more information, give it to them. Tell them this is exactly why. These are what the traits that we breed for. Because chances are that person may or may not care about that, but the chances are they're probably not going to care because they probably have their own set of breeding requirements. So don't feel bad necessarily about selling a cull animal unless you lie about it. If you lie about it, it's a whole different equation. But if you're being honest about it and you're honest about why you're getting rid of these animals, then it's perfectly acceptable to get to sell those cull animals. The other person that these animals would fit for some of our cull cows is somebody that wants cull heifers. I'm sorry, I don't sell the steers. We just raise them out. We just castrate them. We cull them internally. But for the heifers are the ones that you're dealing with on the culling side. If you're selling a heifer and you're culling those, as long as you're honest about it and telling people why you're culling them, then there's always a certain amount of risk, because that heifer might be sterile. You don't know. You've never bred it. They don't know. They've never bred it. But certainly, if you tried to breed it and it didn't take, you need to be honest. And this is a meat cow at that point in time. If it does not take to a breeding, it's a meat cow. It's not one to sell to small farms, not one to sell to homesteaders or hobby farms or anything like that. And so that's what we'll look at. So here in a couple months. Actually, not here in a couple weeks, we're going to have the vet in there, and she's going to preg check all our cows. And we're going to try to get a video of that for you guys so you can see exactly what's going on. But we're going to have the vet come out and do a preg check on all the cows. When the vet does the preg check on the cows, every cow that took this year, we're going to keep, and they'll hold over for the winter. Every cow that did not take, I'm immediately going to cull, because I don't want to feed them out in the winter. How am I going to cull them? Well, I have a couple options. I can either grain feed them for a couple, well, not grain, you guys know, I say grain, but you guys know we do the sunflower non-GMO feeds, but I can grain feed her for a little while, get some fat built up on her, because she is a heifer, so she's a little bit lower on the fat quantity there, but get some fat built up on her body, get her out on some pastures, on some fresh ground, and build her up a little bit, get a little bit of girth on her bones, and then take her to the butcher and sell the meat. Or a lot of times ones like that we end up just stocking our own freezer with, or we do it with family members that want to purchase from us. But anyway, so that's one option. We can get rid of her. We can take her to the sale barn, because that down there is a whole, like I said, it's a whole different game. But that bothers me, because somebody might buy that cow thinking, hey, I'll try to breed her, and if we think she's sterile, then that to me is unethical. So we also, I don't like sale barns. That's a whole different video on that, but I stay away from sale barns in general, and so I probably won't take a cow there one way or the other. And then the other thing that you could do is you could sell it to somebody that, particularly if somebody wants to start learning about cows, somebody might want a roping cow, somebody might want a pet cow, for all I know. I don't care, as long as you're honest about it with why you're selling it. Hey, this cow's sterile, and obviously you're going to take a bath on the price of it. You may have paid $1,000 for that cow. That cow's worth about $150 now. So unless you want to pound it out and raise it for meat. So any that don't take, we will probably raise out for meat. But hopefully, hopefully we're lucky this year and get everybody pregnant. So I'm hoping that's not a problem. But that's kind of where we're at, and that's where a lot of you will be at. So that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about, is the kind of ethics of culling these animals, because if you're raising animals, you are going to have to cull some. Most universities tell you to do about a 10% ratio on your culling. If you're much over that, you're too aggressive. If you're much under that, you're not aggressive enough. So about 10% is what they want to see. 5% being kind of the bare minimum there, and then so in the range of 5 to 15%, ideally right around 10%. That's the amount of animals you want to cull from your herd every year to improve your herd genetics. So, and then you should be replacing them with only better quality animals. For us, we have culled very aggressively for the last couple of years simply because we bought a bunch of cows and knew we were going to have to cull them, and that's okay. So we've culled down, about 30% of our females this year, and so we were pretty aggressive with it this year. But we know next year we won't be probably near as aggressive because we've got a lot of bad characteristics out. We're going to keep back all the heifers. We are getting rid of our bull this year, so we're going to have a whole fresh new line of blood coming in next year. And so we'll be able to keep all our heifers back. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to go over that, tell you guys how to get these things culled. We've done other videos on showing you what to look for when you're culling the animals, but really I wanted to talk about the ethics of this because this is something that my wife and I talk about all the time. And really the most important thing is just be honest with why you're getting rid of them. Don't lie to anybody. Don't tell them a cow's fertile if it's not. Don't tell them it's exposed if you know it's sterile and it doesn't matter that it was exposed. Those are just unethical things. Buy from reputable breeders, people that you know, people that come recommended. And that's one of the risks that you get at the sale barn. At the sale barn, you tend to get the crap left over, and so unless you know a breeder that sells at the sale barn, then you're just going to get the junk left over. So and those the guys that buy from those, some of those backgrounders, some of them are really knowledgeable. We work with one that's unbelievably knowledgeable, and he buys these scrub cows from there and turns them around and makes a lot of money turning these cows around into something that's worth keeping. But he spends some time with them. It's not an easy job, and he is very, very sharp, knows what he's looking for. So he helps us all the time with cow questions. So unless you've been in that game for a little while, not something you want to deal with. Anyways, guys, that's all I got on culling cows, the ethics of culling cows, and we'll go through a little bit more detail. Like I said, we got some videos coming up. We're redoing our corral. We're redoing our loading chute, so we're actually going to be showing you guys what we're doing over there. We've got our well pump here, if I can ever get to the project, coming in here soon. And then we've got, like I said, we've got preg chicken coming up. So we've got some cool videos coming up for you guys. Stay with us, and we'll see y'all probably next week. I'm trying to get one out Saturday morning.